So what's up, guys? I'm Angel, and today I'm going to talk to you about when I was depressed. I am no longer depressed, but I'm going to talk to you about when I was. And I was severely, severely depressed to the point of suicide. So if I look back now, I could probably say I started getting depressed my second semester of freshman year of college. So when I became depressed, it really started coming out around the time that I was diagnosed with PTSD. My flashbacks were very, very strong. I was having flashbacks, I feel like, all the time. When you have flashbacks, it makes you feel like the event is happening over and over and over again. And so the more it happened over and over and over again, the more violated I felt, and the more depressed I got. I always kept my past to myself, and that was part of my downfall, because you should never do that. It's not like one day you just wake up and you're like, oh, I'm depressed. It's developing over time, and it gets stronger. So some nights I was so anxious and stuff about my past that I would stay up and I would just start researching everything I could about my dad. Like I have like lists and papers and all kinds of stuff of everything my dad has done because I was so paranoid that this was going to happen again that I had to protect myself in the only way I knew how, and that was to research everything about it. I was constantly looking over my shoulder, and I was just scared that if my dad didn't come around, then someone else was going. The paranoia isolated me because I was so afraid to leave that sometimes I just wouldn't leave my room. I would stay in my dorm room. On top of that, I had really, really bad roommates in college. My roommates, so my first roommate, it was kind of like a mutual dislike. We both kind of didn't like each other. So I got away from her, and then I ended up getting a good roommate. And the good roommate lasted the rest of my freshman year of college, but then sophomore year, she ended up having to go to the pet dorm because she got a dog. Sophomore year, I ended up rooming with my best friend at the time, or this girl I thought was my best friend. But when she would go to sleep some nights, I would stay up, and I started to like pick at my skin. It's hard for me to say because it's like really embarrassing. But I started to cut myself because I thought everyone else hurt me in my life. Why not hurt myself? That's the logic I had in my depression. It made sense when I was depressed. I'm like, everyone else has hurt me. I might as well hurt myself. And honestly, when I would do it, it felt good. Like, that is scary because hurting myself felt good. It was like, everyone else has hurt me. I'm gonna hurt myself in some weird way. By hurting myself, I was taking the pain away. I never ever in my wildest dream thought this would be me. It's a very hard thing for someone who hasn't been depressed to relate to. I always thought that self-harming was a form of getting attention. I was so wrong. So wrong. And I'm sorry for ever thinking that. Some nights my boyfriend, now my husband, he would come over and he would be sleeping like right beside me, and I would be doing that, like hurting myself. People didn't know. I was very good at hiding it. So people didn't know, but then my boyfriend, now husband, he ended up being the first one to find out that I was doing it, because I was talking to him one day, and I would always have like long sleeves or something so that you couldn't see where I had hurt myself. And so I would have my sleeves pulled down most of the time. But this one day I like went like this or something, and my sleeve fell down, and he saw where I had hurt myself, and he's like, what is that? And I'm like, oh, nothing. I just like, I don't even remember. I made up some stupid lie, and he knew what it was because if you saw it, it was obvious. And he got mad at me, and he was like, Angel, but what about God? And I just like started like getting really upset that he was like, what about God? And so I was like, no, don't talk to me about God. I don't want to hear about God anymore. Like, no, he didn't help me. Like, Aaron's like, you're lost. And then I was just like, I don't care. And he's like, you don't care about God. I'm like, no, I don't care. And then he's like, I don't even know you. And I'm like, I guess not. And I just didn't care about anything. I didn't care about God. I didn't care about my boyfriend. I didn't care about losing. Well, I just didn't care. Everything like just seemed pointless to me. I just remember feeling like I had failed life. So I was having roommate issues, and I ended up moving out of her room, and I begged the housing office to let me move because I'm like, you don't understand how happy I am. I'm so unhappy. And I started crying to this lady. She was so sweet to me, but she really wanted to help me find a good roommate. And I was like, I don't care. I just need a room. I need to get out of where I am now. I'm like, my car is packed. I don't even have anything in my room right now. I was like, please, I just need a room to go to. So she was like, I could put you in this suite with these 3 other girls, but I don't know if you're gonna like them. I'm like, I don't care. It's good enough. Let me just go there. So I went to live with these 3 girls. I didn't know them, but we all had our own room, so I didn't really care. I was like, I'll just stay in my room the whole time. And the girls, honestly, they weren't like, there was nothing really wrong with them, but because of my PTSD, there was nothing wrong with them, but they drank a lot and they smoked pot. I can't smell weed because it triggers me. So they were smoking and drinking, and I would be in my room and I could smell the weed coming in through under my door and whatever, and it would trigger me. And so I was having worse flashbacks moving. And then the alcohol, like I can't really be around drunk people because I can't be around drunk people because of my past as well. So being drunk and just hearing all this stuff, it was triggering me. So I would hide in my room. I was literally so scared to leave my room because of my triggers and my PTSD and flashbacks. Like, this is super embarrassing for me, but I would like not leave my room until I could hear that they had left. So I would like listen, and I would kind of stay quiet in the room because I was like, I don't want them to know I'm here. It was one of those things where I was super paranoid. When they left, then I would leave the room and I would get all my stuff that I needed, and I would leave, and then I'd go sit in my car with my dog. I would drive, most of the time I would drive to Walmart, and then we would just sit in the parking lot, me and my dog, and I would sit there until it was really, really late at night, and then I would drive back when I knew they were asleep and then sneak into my room. Really, the only people I had was my dog. She's back there. I had my dog, I had my best friend, soulmate, and I had Aaron, and that was it. It is honestly true that when you are going through hard times, everyone who doesn't matter will leave, and the people who do matter will stay. It is absolutely 100% true, because everyone that I felt like I had a lot of friends, and then when I started going through rough waters, people left. The feeling of losing everyone just isolated me more. So let me talk about the day that I almost committed suicide. I don't even remember what had happened that day, but I went back to the room, and I just remember thinking that life was too hard, and that dealing with my past was just too much for me to handle, and that I just didn't want to have to keep reliving my past over and over again. I had a plan. Like, I had pulled out all of my I had like face medicine for acne. I just pulled out every pill that I had in my room, like Advil, any medicine I had in my room, and I was just going to take all of them. And I mean, I didn't know if it was going to work, but I was hoping it would work. And so I had it all lined up on my bed, and then I looked down and I see my dog looking up at me, and I'm like crying really, really hard. And I'm just like, I'm sorry, Pooh. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I can't do this anymore. And then she was just like looking up at me, and then she starts like licking my feet. And I'm just like, I can't do this anymore, Pooh. I just can't. And so I start opening the bottle, and then my phone rings, and it is my best friend calling me. And I'm just like, I ignore her call, and I just throw the phone away. And I start opening up all the pills, and I have them in my hand. And then she keeps calling me back. So I'm like, what is wrong? Like, why is she calling me? And so I just answered the phone, and I'm like, in my mind, I'm just like, pretend like you're happy so that she doesn't know anything's wrong. So I just like answer the phone, and I'm trying to sound happy. And then she's like, what's wrong? And then I, like, just when she said, "What's wrong?" I was like, I just bawled. I couldn't even hold it back. And I just started really, really crying hard. And she's like, "I'm coming to get you. You're coming over to my room and we're going to hang out. We're going to have a fun night." And then I was just like, "I don't want to. It's okay. I just want to go to sleep." That's what I kept telling her. And she's like, "No, I'm coming right now." And I'm like, "Please don't come." I'm like, "Please don't come." And she's like, "No, I'm coming." So anyway, she ended up coming over to my room, and my roommates were in the living room, and they thought I was like asleep or something. They always thought I was gone or asleep because they never saw me. They probably thought I was the weirdest girl ever. Anyways, she gets me out of my room, and I had put up all the bottles, so she didn't know what was about to happen. And then we take my dog and we go over to her room, and I spend the night with her. And then she didn't know it that night. I told her later on, but she saved my life. Her and my dog saved my life that night because I was about to die. Like, I wanted to die that night, and she saved my life, and my dog saved my life. And so this is how I ended up getting out of my depression. I got tired of being sad. And that sounds dumb, but I literally got tired of being sad and not leaving my room. And I believe when you are depressed, you should fight back any way you can, whether it be talking to someone, whether it be going and getting on antidepressants, or going to church. And I went to church. And I prayed to God, and that's how I ended up fighting my depression. If you don't believe in God, that is okay. That is your choice to not believe in God. But I'm here to tell you that God saved my life, and I would not be here. I would be dead if it wasn't for God. If God didn't put people in my life who he knew were going to pray for me, because my best friend and Aaron, they both kept praying for me even when I gave up hope in myself. They kept praying for me. So if God didn't put people in my life to pray for me, if he didn't put if he didn't put my best friend in my life that night that I had all my pills lined up to die, then if he didn't put her in my life, I would have died that night. I know for a fact that from struggling, I thought I knew God before my struggle, and then I left him. But now I know God. I know God. And I went from hating him to going to church, to rededicating my life to him, to being baptized, and then to getting a master's degree in Christian ministry. I got a freaking master's degree in Christian ministry, and even I'm laughing at that because I'm like, how did that happen? Like, I got that degree. It was supposed to take me 3 years, and I got it in 1 year. And every time I would write a paper or take a test, I would pray to God to tell me the answer, and I would get A's. I got A's in all my classes because I prayed to God to help me through master's school. Prayer works, you guys. I'm here to tell you, I'm living proof. Prayer works. I wouldn't be here without prayer. I would have died. It makes me happy. So I'm just trying to share that with everyone and tell people that, yeah, I was depressed. Yeah, I did self-harm. Yeah, all this terrible stuff happened to me. But you know what? I'm here and I'm alive and I'm not going anywhere. Not until it's my time to go. And I'm going to keep telling you guys, I'm going to keep talking, and I'm going to keep sharing my past. I'm going to keep sharing things I've been through, because it's important for everyone to know that it is okay. We are all going to struggle. We're all going to go through hard times. We're all going to have ups and downs. We're all going to, like, we can be depressed. We can get out of that depression. Like, just please listen. I'm simply telling you how God saved me, and that I am extremely grateful that he did. Anyway, that is my depression story, and if you liked it, please give it a thumbs up, please subscribe, and please be nice in the comments, and I will talk to you next time. Love you guys. Bye.